Hello. This is gonna be like my second video on Source. So last time in Source, I made uh somebody said it looked like Scout. I remember. I remember it looked like he stubbed his toe really bad. Somebody else said it looked like he was dabbing it on not on my I don't know the Discord I'm in. It's kind of funny. But today, I don't know. I'm gonna try animating today. So I have actually not watched all of the videos. Actually, watched very little, so I don't know much about animating. All I know is that it tends to be rather hard. Mm, so create animation for new model. Let's go spy. Spy is a bit of a favorite because unlike all the other TF2 characters, he's just really simple. First, you gotta bring him over here. Fun fact, so Control Z is like the undo button. So always hit that if you fuck something up. What the fuck did I just do? Alright, so now when it comes to making an animation, I don't really know much about it. All I know is that it tends to be rather hard. Which means you wanna go to rig, load rig, you know. So that's the nice thing about SFM. All the rigs are already preloaded because they had to make them for all the animations. Since this is entirely made by Valve. So if we want to go here, we want to bring this up to over here. Now, if we want to go off, my bad. It's like 8:40 a.m. where I am right now, so I'm kind of tired. But if you can see here, all the lines moving, that is part. That's I don't really watch all tutorials and stuff, but that's kind of how it works. So you can bring Spy's hand up here. The nice thing is, it doesn't. SFM doesn't care much about rotation. It won't really add it into the animation. So if you go back to here, it's a very simple animation, but so now that we have this here, well, the thing is, you kind of know what you're gonna make for your animation and how you're gonna do it. So I'm really just going off here how to kind of start off your animation. Actually, let's go back here. If you, I feel like I never actually did anything. So you want to make an animation in SFM. Let's say you already kind of know what you're doing. You already kind of know how to use a model and stuff. If you don't, you want to figure out how to do that first, because that's the main way to be able to do stuff. You need to know how to use a model, how to have it simplified, how to basically use a lot of the tools and stuff, or else you don't, just not gonna be super easy, because you need to know how to use models, mess around with them, all that crap. But let's say you do. Well, this is how to animate for absolute idiots, because I have not animated yet that much. So what you want to do is you want to bring everything, kinda. So you want to bring this up to probably around here, and you want to bring this along with it. You just want to line these up the best you can. So what we now want to do here is we're gonna bring this little thing, this kind of, I don't really know what that bit does other than kind of separate stuff. So if we bring this, we do that. I really don't like how spice. So let's say we do this. Bring his hand up from the base model here. So what you're basically doing is you're bringing and dragging from one point to another. So again, like I said, SFM doesn't really count rotation into anything. So if you go back here, we see all we see is Spy going out to give a handshake. You don't see all the rotation I had to do. And that's nice because you have to do a shit ton of rotation in order to use this. Now the nice thing is you can always go back and change how you had stuff. So let's say his arm is too in. Well, I can go back and bring his arm more out. So that's all. So I haven't used Blender. I've never used Blender in my life. This is the only animation software I've really used, which basically means that other people might have used Blender. They probably know way more than I do because, again, I've never used Blender. This is the only animation software I've used, and I'm pretty sure also, I don't know when this was updated, but I think it was the same time TF2 was stopped getting major updates. Since now it's community maps and weapons, which is always nice. Community map, not really weapons, but community maps, taunts, all that is always kind of fun. So let's say I want Spy to have his revolver, and let's say his hand. I didn't really know they had all that. Like, that's just Spy. It's fucking. You should put in rev, and we should find weapons, C models, bunch of different kinds of revolvers. So, again, this is where you kind of just need to have used SFM in all the models to know what you're doing. So I've had a bit of a problem. I haven't really figured out how to make something move well with something else. So let's say Spy has a revolver in his hand. He just kind of, let's get it to where he's kind of got his finger on the trigger here. Ain't good enough. So here's the thing. If you try to just circle his hand and everything else that comes along with it, and let's say you try to drag it up, it gets mismatched in 1,000 different ways. I also kind of forgot to snag his hand and everything. Okay, so here we go. If you do this, you get it just monumentally fucks up everything. You should try, no, shotgun's also a problem. So, I didn't really know how you're supposed to deal with this, but my best guess is separate animation. Or, hold up, why don't I just grab the main weapon bone? So weapon bone right here. You do this, you grab the hand and the weapon bone. And Jesus fucking Christ, I'm stupid. Excuse my language, but I didn't realize you're just supposed to grab the weapon bone. So, now we got this. The main question is, can you rotate it without... You can rotate it. It has a few problems, unfortunately, but you know what? I'm happy. Because I just figured out how to deal with a very annoying problem. And just having to kind of put this back into the right place is so much easier than doing both of these separately. Plus, I don't really like how I had spy holding revolver. It is a bit sloppy. Oh, I'm probably gonna have it hold it the same way. So the problem is that I didn't get any of that of what I just did. Because this little thing, you need to use this for everything you do. So now we gotta go back here. Actually, I don't even know if I want... Now we have to go really far back because I don't really think I want spy here. So we just go to where this little check mark. Yeah, that should never exist. Nope, it kind of has to exist. So now what we're seeing here is progression. Can I delete this? There we go. Yay! So now I can delete spy ever having to bring up his arm. Yes, just bring that shit back down. No, you little fuckers. I don't wanna... I guess it's always gonna be a bit... Always gonna be a part of it, but I don't really care this week. So, let's go grab the weapon bone. Let's bring this over to spy. Yeah, so one thing let's recommend, if you're gonna try animating a ball bouncing. That's one thing I learned. I heard it's just a generally good thing to do. Thing is, I don't really... When it comes to animation, I would need something to know and do. And let's say, the people are making... If you've ever watched MSS Blue, I highly recommend you do, especially if you like TF2. And maybe a bit more of like a horror genre. Go watch MSS Blue, amazing movie. One of my like top 10 favorites. They had a script and everything, because all of that was animated in SFM. Every single last bit. I'm pretty sure. If it was made in Blender, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure it was all made in SFM. Or aren't we... There's two animation sites for 3D. 2D animation is its own separate thing that I don't feel like fucking around with. So now what we gotta do is we gotta move this so we can have Spy's other arm come up. So now what we gotta do is his hand, turn that shit. So now you see these both have their separate animation pinpoints. Spy's hand has one, and the weapon bone also has one. So now we gotta bring this back over here. And if you go back and play, we have a nice but simple animation. So it's nice, sorta. There's no real point because I don't have anything specific to animate. But let's go back over here. Hold up. That just gave me a good idea. So we have Spy's hand back here. So I don't know how to get rid of what clusterfuck is happening on my screen right now. Good lord. Alright, let's not worry about that. That shit said a happy small. This dude looks like he's about to go commit a war crime, bruh. So if you go over here. Alright, so let's bring everything back here. I don't know what clusterfuck I just made on the screen, but let's go back here. Alright, so now what I want to do is so now I want this pinpoint here to be up way further. So now that we got now the other thing I want to do is bring in Spy's hand a little bit over here so it looks like he's pointing it at you. Cause screw you. You getting mugged by a spy. Come on, pull him. You get mugged. There we go. I forgot to add another pinpoint, but yeah, I don't really care. So now if you go back here, and let's go over here. Let's go back over here where you can't see all the animation shit. Alright, you know what? That one was alright. Let's go back. What the fuck is wrong with your head, my dude? I feel like I'm running into more problems the longer I try to animate you. Where the fuck is all the data I just had? So, if it just wiped basically everything I just did, I'm gonna be a little bit pissed. No, it didn't. It's just not showing up for some parents. That's the problem with that stuff. This is buggy as shit. Which means... So, do you want more of an overall top view? We want to bring... Weapon bone. I'm gonna bring this over to the side a little. Also need to have it nicely, gingerly placed into his hand. Now we kind of want it pointing at you. There we go. There we go. So let's go back here. Spy mugs you. Wait, can I add it so after all of this shit, Happy goes away? I really hope that just suddenly shows up. Alright. Let's do this. So, that is a really simple animation. I don't know any serious skilled animation, and I sure as shit don't know how to animate stuff very well. But there's one thing I do know that I do kind of like to mess around with. Game model, check press, rig, over. What the fuck is the thing that lets you re-earn? Hold up, can't I just dead ass out of light? No, I can't. There we go, create lights. So if I create lights, that means that I can basically do some simple stuff here, and I can kind of light everything up. You know, as lights are meant to do. So I want to bring this maybe. So now we go back from work camera 1. Do you want to bring camera 1 quite a bit here? Yeah, I guess Spy uses the force to turn on his revolver and shit. But that is very simple animation. It kind of works again. Source tends to be rather janky compared to other things, newer stuff like Blender. But you know what? I like it. I think it works. All I gotta do now is figure out how to fuck download things that you make. Alright, y'all. Well, that was boring and I think not very fun to watch, but I don't know. Not many content for y'all, not many content for me.